Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for being here today on our webinar with lovely Renee waving behind us all. So today the topic we're going to talk about today is turn your knowledge into products. Before we get on to Renee, I'll just introduce myself. So my name is Neha. I run a small bookkeeping and training business called Sum and Substance. Also CPA qualified and work very closely with systems like Xero, 𝐉𝐨𝐢𝐵, Workflow Max. Super passionate about systems and assisting business owners in ensuring that they get most out of their systems and systems actually work for them. It's my pleasure today to bring you all Renee Hasseldine from 𝐶inkWrapped. So what 𝐶inkWrapped does, it enables all the consultants and experts and thought leaders to wrap up the complex thoughts and actually put them into visual models. I've myself used for future-proof accountants Renee's models, and it's really makes it easy for prospects or prospective clients to actually understand what you do in a very clear manner. Her knack for extracting and unpacking thoughts and turning them into clear must-have solutions is sheer genius. I love her work, and I'm sure you'll enjoy listening to Renee. I will leave the virtual stage, if I may say, to Renee. Renee, it's all yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Neha. It's great to be here. Hi, everyone. I'm going to share my screen and jump in. So before we continue, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we're all joining from today. So Neha and I are both on Wurundjeri land in Eltham, and so yeah, I acknowledge that they have cared for this land for thousands and thousands of years before we have the privilege of living here. So today, this topic, turning your knowledge into products, is something that I'm really passionate about because I love working with smart people, which is, that's part of it really. And so I get the joy of, unpacking what is in someone's brain and turning it into something that's really profitable and that's fun to deliver as well. So a little bit about me. Thank you, Neha, for the intro. So yes, actually started my business in October 2001 when I escaped from the corporate world. And since then I've written a couple of books. I've hosted a podcast for 3 years, and I've run 6 national tours around Australia sharing the system I'm going to share with you today, which is has now won an innovation award in the Asia Pacific region. So we're very proud of that. So this is my gorgeous team. And look, you might recognize Neha down here, who's our fabulous accountant. But we have a fabulous team who works behind the scenes to look after our clients. And I really couldn't do what I do without them. I'm sure those of you who run businesses will understand how important it is to have a team that you can count on to do what you need them to do without needing micromanaging. And that's one of the things I love about this 𝐶inkWrapped system is the more we can take out of our heads as the founder and CEOs of our business, the more the team can take over and do what we want them to do to our own very high standards. And I think that's kind of, something I initially resisted delegating to my team, and I found that over the years, the more I can get what is in my brain out of my head, the easier it is to delegate. So yes. And this is my other team. This is my gorgeous family as well. And for me, one of the reasons I get so passionate about what I do is because when you can extract what's in your brain and deliver your services more efficiently and more profitably, then you can work less hours in your business. And that means you get to spend more time with the people that you love. So these are the people closest to me in my life. So today I'm going to start off by looking at the results and gaps. So this is where we're going to kind of look at, in terms of your service-based business, what sort of results are you currently getting, and what results would you like to get. I'm going to share with you the 𝐶inkWrapped system as well. So this is the system that we have developed that helps you to unpack all your thoughts. So I'm going to share that with you. And then I'm going to show you, actually it's a 5-step process. That's a typo. The 5-step process that we use for actually turning your knowledge into products, and then look at the benefits of doing that. So my first question to you is, are you getting the results that you want? And so if you've got a piece of paper there, I'd like you to grab a paper and pen and be ready for this, because I'm going to actually get you to do a little bit of a self-assessment. You're going to do a little drawing and mark yourself, give yourself a little assessment on this process. So what I kind of discovered in my 19 years in business, I feel slightly old saying that, is that when it comes to service-based businesses, and you know, Neha, you probably see this as well from the accounting perspective, is that really whether a business is going to be profitable or not in terms of, you know, as a service-based business, is going to depend on how they deliver their service in terms of, you know, what's the profit margin for each time they deliver a service to a client. And so this will be the first one, and then I'll share the second. And the second one is, how good are you at the sales and marketing? So, you know, in terms of service delivery, at one end of the spectrum, you've got this kind of bespoke way of delivering your services. So, you know, you get a client and they come to you and they've got this challenge or problem, and it's your job to get them from A to B. And, you know, very often we're providing customized, bespoke solutions for our clients, which is not necessarily the shortest distance between 2 points, but we get them there in the end because we have high standards and we care about our clients getting results. But what can happen with bespoke solutions is that, you know, they can run over time, over budget, and so that can often eat into the profit margin for those projects. We don't want that to happen, do we, Neha?
Oh, no, not at all. Profitability is a no-no.
Yeah, that's right. So, so one of the challenges that my clients often face is that it's the curse of knowledge. The challenge is not that they don't have enough things to put into, you know, a product that they want to, you know, sell. The problem is usually that they know too much, and when they try and explain what it is that they do, it's like this tangled web, and because this thing connects over here to this thing, and this thing connects this thing, and like, which thing do I tell and which thing don't I tell, and what order do I do it in? And we just try and live this, like, it's like this jumbled mess of brilliance locked inside our brains. So it can be very hard then to work out, you know, when you decide, oh, I want to turn my knowledge into some products, how am I going to do that? So that's what we kind of want to move towards, is that we've got this proven system. So even if you're still working one-on-one with your clients and delivering that service, that you know exactly how many hours it's going to take, you know exactly what your costs are going to be every time you deliver that service, so you can have that guaranteed profit margin, and you know, you can budget and have that, you know, predictable profit every time you have a client. We want that too, don't we, Neha? Oh, I'm like referring to my bowing down to my accountant here. So yes, we want to have that proven system, so that yes, we can have that predictable profit, and also it's the shortest distance between two lines, right? We know that if a client comes to us with a problem, they're at point A and they want to get to point B, this is our 5-step process. Boom, we're going to get them there every single time. We know how much time it's going to take. Therefore, we know what our direct costs are going to be for that project delivery, and therefore we know what our margin is going to be in terms of profit too. So then the other thing I want you to think about, oh, actually, let's just go back then to that service delivery. So I want you to think about this vertical axis now, and think about your personal, in your business, how are you currently delivering your services to your clients? Are you at the bespoke end? Are you at the kind of proven, predictable profit end? Where along that line are you? Mark along, so draw on your piece of paper that first vertical axis now, and mark along that line where you actually think your business sits in terms of how proven and predictable your service delivery is every time. Okay. Now, this second axis, the x-axis here, this one is about your audience response. And really this comes down to how good are you at communicating what it is that you do and communicating your value and your sales and marketing effectively. So we've all come across a person at a networking event. You know, imagine you meet someone for the first time and you ask them what they do and they start talking, and then you're just like thinking, oh my God, can this person please stop? I have no idea what they're talking about. No, I'm not in, like, they're just boring, ho-hum. You're like thinking about the champagne in the corner, thinking, when can I run off and talk to someone else because this person is boring, right? We don't want your audience to have that response to you. We want to make sure that when you're sharing, you know, when you're meeting someone the first time, when you're doing your elevator pitch, when you're sharing what you do with your audience, that they have you know, a rapt response. You're like the rock star to them. They're like, oh my God, that is amazing. We love what you do. That is, you know, tell me more, tell me more. We want them asking for more and excited to hear more and work with you. And not just hear more, but actually, you know, win those contracts. So, you know, you put those proposals in, you submit those tenders, whatever, you know, whatever it is that you, whatever way it is that you acquire those new customers, that we want to make sure that we can have that predictable conversion and that and be attracting those clients rather than being desperately running around trying to find them. So I want you to now think about that x-axis and look at, okay, so where along there in terms of the way the audience responds to you, do you fit, right? Are you at the, do people kind of go, oh, no idea what you're talking about and run away? Or are they like, you're amazing, we love you, you know, you get really great conversions and you're really, really good at attracting those clients. So when you, now that you've got your 2 points marked along those two axes, you're going to work out which quadrant you're going to fit into. So let's see how this goes. So if you're down at this bottom left quadrant, that's a very high risk place to be in our business, right? Because if you're not able to have predictable profit every time you have a new client, and you know you're struggling to attract new clients, it's going to feel like in business you're hanging by the skin of your teeth, like you're hanging on, right? It's a desperate, scary place to be. If you've got a proven system and you can have that predictable profit, right? So when you do get a client, you can deliver it at a high standard consistently, and you know that you're going to make money every time you do that, but you're not attracting enough clients. You've kind of got this, you're on this hidden potential, right? There's this potential for you that you're a bit of a hidden gem there. Oh, that just talked to me. That was weird. All right. Now, if you're down at this bottom, the bottom right corner here, where we've got this bottleneck, this is where, you know, you're delivering every time you get a new client, you're having to come up with a solution and you're customizing the way that you deliver that service to that client every single time. So even though you're, you know, great at attracting new clients, when they come in, you're the bottleneck in the business because the client wants to deal directly with you. You know, they don't necessarily want to deal with the other people in the team because you're the person that they want to deal with all the time. And you become that bottleneck in the business, and that's got very high key person risk. You know, if you get sick, what happens to the income in the business? Can you go away on holiday for a week? What happens to the business? So when you're the bottleneck in the business, you know, it's a very stressful place to be. What we want to aim for is that predictable, proven system in the top right, and having the ability to attract those clients time and time again. And that's kind of the dream really with the service-based business, is we get to make a difference with our businesses, because many of us start our business because we want to do something that's kind of meaningful and powerful to us. And we want to do it in a way that actually is good for us, that, you know, is sustainable and that we can do long-term without burning ourselves out and without kind of, you know, losing those connections with our families as well. And that's where the fireworks happen, like, all right. So I just wanted to share with you a couple of examples of how productizing has been really great for some of my clients. So Katie Jane Romain is one of my clients. And when she started working with me, she had it already. She was working one-on-one with her clients. So she's a career accelerator in the, she works with executives in the resources and mining industry. And so when she came to me, she was already working one-on-one with those clients, but every single client she was working that bespoke way. It was a very customized, you know, one-on-one client solution. So she had a turnover of 300,000 and she wanted to, you know, her target was, I want to get to 1 million and I want to start working in groups. I want to run a group mastermind and take all these people through together so that, you know, it's not, because you hit a cap, right? There are only so many hours in the day and so many one-on-one clients you can work with. So the challenge that she had when she came to me was, well, yeah, but Renee, when I work with a client, everything is, you know, very customized. Like this client's not the same as this client. And I do it slightly different here. And, you know, when the client tells me this thing, then I know what to do. Because, you know, so you're just applying your knowledge to each problem as it arises with the client. And so when we were able to actually extract what was in Katie Jane's head and turn it into her Think Wrapped system, she was then able to start running her 12-month group mastermind program. And she sold that out. I mean, she's an absolute gun. She actually hit her 1 million turnover within 15 months of us working together. So super fast growth. Yeah. And so to give you another idea, Anna Osherov, after creating her ThinkRapt system with us, she donated a door prize at a networking event. Remember those before COVID? When we could actually see each other in person. So she donated a door prize at a networking event, and they let her get up for 5 minutes. As part of that, you know, when you donate a door prize, you're often allowed to stand up on stage and introduce your business. And so that's what Anna did. She had 5 minutes. She got up and introduced her business using her 4 models that I'm going to teach you today. And in that 5 minutes, converted 50% of the room to her half-day workshop. So that's a pretty phenomenal conversion rate from 5 minutes on stage. So this is the sort of stuff that's really powerful. And that's why I get excited about this, because I know that, you know, for all of you watching, that this is the possibility for you. And I'd love to see you getting these kinds of results. All right, so let's jump into this system. Neha, are there any questions coming up?
Not yet. Guys, if you've got questions, please keep them coming. And Renee will try to answer them as you go. Brilliant.
Thank you. All right. So one of the challenges that we have with trying to take all that genius out of our heads and harness that genius for maximum impact is that many people try and pull it all out and stick it into one picture. They're like, oh yeah, visual model, that's a great idea. And then they just kind of stick it in one picture, and that kind of becomes a bit of a dog's breakfast. So what we've established is this 4 model system, which means that when we pull the information out, we want to channel it into 4 different areas. Each of the information, there's 4 different types of information that we want to separate and have a message, a key message and a model for each of those 4 types of information. So the first model we want to create is the results model. And this model for you in your business is to show your audience the difference between the results they're currently getting and the results that they want. Okay, so that's a really powerful way to sort of start the communication with them, is to just show them, allow them to identify where they're at and where they want to be, and see a gap between the two. Because human nature, when we see a gap between where we are and where we want to be, we want to close that gap, right? So that helps to kind of motivate them to listen more into what you've got to offer. So an example here, this is one of my clients, Elaine Hendrick. She works in the not-for-profit sector, and she helps organisations to focus more on outcomes-based reporting instead of outputs. So, for example, if someone's running a program, instead of talking about how many participants they've got, we're going to actually start measuring, okay, how many people in this program actually had a measurable difference. For example, you know, had increased engagement in whatever it is that they're doing. I don't know. I've forgotten what her examples are, but essentially though, Elaine can use this model here to work with her clients, and she can use it to actually tell a case study. So often we can use a results model to talk through a case study for a successful client that we've worked with, or we can use it to tell our own story if we are a role model for our audience as well. Another way we can demonstrate a results model is using a spectrum like this. So this is Stellar Partnerships. They work with charities to help them have corporate partnerships. And so here we've got, you know, we all start as a charity, like we've all got potential to attract corporate partnerships and have partnerships that are really successful. But if we don't do it right, we can end up, you know, going to the left where we've got a bit of frustration and our whole strategy can fail. Or we can make some progress if we implement the right things and do the right thing. Then we can work towards having stellar partnerships where it's profitable and it builds profile and, you know, does all the right things, ticks all the right boxes. Oh, clicking. It's not letting me click. There we go. All right. So if there's any questions, please do pop them in the chat, and Neha will let me know as well. Neha's watching that for us, so thank you. So model number 2 is about this is the answers model. And the answers model really is about what does your audience need to overcome their challenges and their problems. So, you know as the expert what the obstacles and the problems are that they face. So what are the answers to those? What are the key criteria, success criteria that will help them to resolve and solve those problems? So this is all about what your clients need. So for Elaine Hendrick, these are the 4 things that her clients need to move towards outcomes-based reporting. And for Stellar Partnerships, they need to develop successful corporate partnerships. All right. Moving on to the process model. So this one is more about your service delivery. When a client comes to work with you, what is your step-by-step process for getting proven results, right? How do you get those proven predictable results and predictable profit margins?
Yep, that's the word.
Yeah. How do we keep our accountants happy? So number one goal in life. All right. So this is coming back again to Elaine Hendrick as the working example. This is her 7-step process, but also we can see we've used color here to separate into the 3 different stages as well. So, you know, she can potentially do a proposal to a client for just stage 1. And then, you know, once they've completed that, she could do for stage 2, etc. So you can basically use this process model as the basis of how you deliver your service. So whether you're delivering that service one-on-one, you can explain to your clients, we need to complete these 7 steps to get the results that you want. And so whether I come in as a consultant on site and work with you to do this for you, or whether I train you to do this and you do it yourself, or whether we do it together, you know, you do some and then I'm here to support you and mentor you. So you can package this process model into various price points, depending on how much of your time your clients get from you. So for example, if you wanted to create an online course, you would teach each of these 7 steps, but the client would be doing it themselves potentially. If you wanted to write a book, then the book is based on how you actually execute these 7 steps as well. So you can, once you've created this process model, this becomes the basis of all your products. And that's how, you know, and the product creation is so much more efficient because, you know, you've done the hard work. Everything is just based on this 7-step process or however many steps you end up with in your business. And this is Stellar Partnerships process model. So this is their 7-step process. It's just a coincidence that both of them are 7. You kind of want between 3 and 7 steps is kind of a good number. And so, yeah, just so happens coincidentally that both Elaine and Stellar Partnerships have 7. So again, so Stellar Partnerships, part of the challenge they were facing was that with their with a lot of their clients, a lot of the charities that they were working with, they couldn't afford their full 7-step process. So what they were doing was saying, oh, can you just like give me a client list of people to call, right? Which is, where is it? That's something like 5, you know, imagine that's like 5.4. That's step 5.4. That'd be just like, I just want to I can just afford to pay for that bit. And so what they were finding was that clients were kind of buying little tiny pieces of the puzzle, but not the whole thing, and still hoping to get the same outcome or result that they would if they followed the whole thing, right? And so if you ever feel like you've been pulled into that kind of thing where, you know, you're kind of having to sell off tiny little pieces that you know are not really going to get great results, but the clients don't have the budget for the whole thing, when you've actually created your ThinkWrap system, you can show the full 7-step, you know, or however many steps that you've got. And you can say, okay, well, if you can't afford for me to come in as the consultant and do this for you or with you, then here is my training program where it's, you know, a much lower price point, and we can package that up and deliver that for a cheaper price point, but at least you're still getting the whole system, but you've got to do it yourself. That, you know, for that lower price point, you know, you can have a DIY version for your clients. So that avoids that challenge of selling off tiny little pieces of the puzzle. You had a question there, Neha?
No, I don't have a question, but I was just going to add that most of us, because I think we've got a lot of people in the service industry as attendees today, I can relate to that completely. I'm sure everyone else can relate too.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you've got questions, keep coming them in, please.
Great. Awesome. And then that 4th and final model is the target model. So this one is really about showing your audience what are the KPIs, those key performance indicators, and the benefits that you're actually targeting in the service that you offer, in the solution that you offer. So for example, with Elaine, when her clients focus on this outcomes-based reporting, they've got the evidence they need to attract, to build trust with the people who are providing the funding for them, because obviously funded often by, you know, donations or by government bodies or other bodies. And so therefore they attract the funding that they need to continue to have the impact and do the work that they do. And then with stellar partnerships, when they, work with them and develop great, follow their step-by-step system, they can attract great partners that are profitable, build their profile, and also attract the people to come and work in their organization that they want, because one of the challenges that their audience faces is that there are very few people who are well skilled and experienced in working in corporate partnerships. So to attract high quality people and retain them is actually a really important thing for their audience. All right, and so then we had those 4 models. It's kind of all wrapped up in a nice bow, because then when you've got those 4 models extracted, you can actually work through the 4 of them, talk through the 4 of them, weave them into a story. So if you're doing a keynote presentation, running a webinar, whatever it is whatever it may be, you use those 4 models then to form, it's like the spine, the structure of everything that you do. And it's just how much information you give will just depend on the time that you've got. Yeah.
We've got a question, Renee.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, so Peter Flynn asks, what are the key topics to consider in a case study?
That's a great question, Peter. So in terms of a case study, there are a couple of different approaches really. So I generally use the results model to look at case studies. So, and that can often follow a hero's journey style of approach. So you look at what's the beginning of the story, what's the opening, what was the build up before, the complication, because the stage 3 kind of usually is the complication stage of, where they have enough pain that they need us as the expert to come in and help them. So then what's the challenge of the complication, then what's the resolution, what did that look like, and then what was the happy ending. So it's kind of that 5-stage kind of process that we can use to talk through a case study, and that's generally the way that I present my case studies. Hope that helps, Pete. Keep it coming if you need more clarification on that. All right, so yes, coming back to the 4 model system, the top and the bottom one, so this is like a bit of a sandwich here. We've got the top and the bottom model. They deal with the emotional needs of our audience. So we all know that, people buy based on feelings and emotions. So we've got that, we're dealing with that with the first and the last model. And then the 2 models in the middle are dealing more with what the rational brain needs and meeting the rational needs of our audience. The results in the target models are answering the why question. Why should your audience, your clients work with you? The answers model looks at what do they need? And the process model looks at how are we actually going to achieve this solution? All right. Good. So let's look at how we actually do it. Neha, how much time have I got?
So glad you can take some of my time.
All right, good. So this is how we work at ThinkWrapped, and this is how we actually go through the harnessing of the genius in someone's brain and packaging it up. So we start off, step 1 is all about clarifying. So we need to understand who the audience is, where your business is currently at and where it's heading. And we really want to understand why your audience needs what it is that you offer. Then we go through the extraction process. So this is where we pull all the information out of your brain so that we can create those 4 models for you. Then when we've got those 4 models extracted, we present them. So the first time that they're extracted and just drafted for the first time, I actually present them myself and talk them through. So that shows you how to do it and present it. And then the client presents them themselves. So it's really important that we present. So this is before, we haven't even gone to graphic design yet. So we like to present the models before they're at graphic design, because when you start talking through your models for the first time, you'll start to feel where it kind of goes, oh, that was a bit awkward, or oh no, that did not roll off the tongue, or maybe I want to switch those 2 around because it didn't quite flow nicely. So presenting them out loud to an audience is actually a very important part of the process in ironing out all the kinks and tweaking things as need be. Then we look at how are you going to package it? So once the models are created and we understand what are all the things that need to happen to get the results your audience wants, then we look at how we're going to package them at various price points. So, are you going to write a book? Are you going to have a keynote presentation? Are you going to run workshops, webinars? Are you going to, run one-on-one still, consulting services on site with clients, maybe not in COVID, via Zoom. You know, what are all the package, different price points for how you're going to package your services. So that's stage 4. And then stage 5 is then we create the resources. So my team will do the graphic design for the models. We'll create slide decks. You know, we create sales brochures based on the models as well. So that's our 5-stage process that we work with our clients. And when you follow this step-by-step process, when you put the Think Wrap system at the heart of a service-based business, you get to streamline the way that you deliver your services, which means predictable profit. Yay for Neha.
Yay. That's good.
And it means you get to stand out in your industry as a thought leader and an expert, right? Because when you are the creator of your methodology, when you're putting your intellectual property out there, you will stand out as, you know, a thought leader, as someone who is leading the industry, because you are actually creating intellectual property that is of significance. And that will mean that you can scale and grow your business. You're able to deliver your services more profitably and not have you as the bottleneck in the business, which means that you can scale and grow the business as you'd like to. And just a quick example of showing you how this gets pulled together into a brochure. So we've got here, it's just going to flick through there now. So once you've got the 4 models created for your business, then we can pull them into you know, a sales brochure. This can become the basis of your proposals, your proposal documents, and so that way you're also streamlining how you're winning clients and winning proposals. And yes, then obviously that can apply to your you know, your website, your social media. Everything that you do should flow through then from your 4 models once they've been created. So Neha, do you want me to do this bit now, or?
Yeah, sure. I've got a quick question for you.
Sure, yes.
I think you'll love this one. So Martin's got a question. He says, I favor video interviews with clients to go through either testimonials or case studies. What a great idea. If they are resistant, I try to get them to do a phone interview that is recorded. The recordings are then put online. Do you agree that this is more effective than written case studies or testimonials?
Great. Thanks, Martin. I'm curious about, sorry, I'm just curious about you putting, if you're recording a video interview with a client call and then putting that online. Sorry, I'm a bit confused by what that means. But look, I'm all about the visual, and so whether it's in printed, you know, format, written format with the visual, or you're presenting it in a, you know, Zoom call or what have you, I think having the models to streamline the communication and to really hone in on these are the key points that you're getting across. It can also help, you know, for those of us like, you know, super passionate. I'm sure some of you are super passionate about what you do. And so we can talk for days and days and days underwater about what it is that we do. But I love to use the visuals to pull me back in when I go off on a tangent, right? It's like, okay, come back to the slide, Renee, come back to this model. Where are you up to? And that keeps me on track. So I think in terms of presenting case studies, video can be fantastic. We also use PDFs. And I think it's more about the audience has a preference. I think both can be powerful in different contexts and depending on who the audience is. Some people prefer to read, some people prefer to watch a video. And so it's really going to come down to what does your audience love? I don't think there's a blanket answer to that one.
Yeah, so I think what Martin is trying to say is, so they obviously do a Zoom session as testimonial, which is obviously great, which is...
Oh, yeah, I get you.
We do that as well. So I really, really, really love it as well. But I think the question mainly was that where clients are hesitant, they don't want to perhaps, you know, have their video, they actually just do the phone recording. You know, is it better to do written case studies or testimonials like this? So I guess, Martin, what Renee has teed that up in is depends on your audience.
Yeah. So I misunderstood that the question, Martin. My apologies for that. So, yes, in terms of recording client testimonials, yeah, we do a similar thing where we jump on a video and try and get them to share their experience in working with us. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of outside my zone of genius, really. I wouldn't say I'm an expert in testimonials, so I'm just gonna keep moving on that one.
No worries. I've got another question from Peter about handling cold calling. Again, I don't know if that is in discussion with what Renee is going to talk about today. Renee, do you have any tips for that?
Yeah, not really. No, I'm definitely not an expert in cold calling. That's not my zone of genius either. Sorry.
All right, cool. No worries. We keep going, Renee.
Okay, great. So our offer today is a free strategy session with our client success champion, 𝐂𝐨𝐬𝐬, who so just to talk about, can the Think Wrap system help you to streamline your service delivery in your business? Can it help you to get more conversions with your proposals? So if you're running a service-based business and you want to package up more profitably, then yes, we'd love to chat with you. So book in a chat with 𝐂𝐨𝐬𝐬. If you go to bit.ly/𝐂𝐨𝐬𝐬 strategy, you'll be able to book in a call with her to chat about how we can do that. So
we will be sending, sorry.
That's all right.
We will be sending all those details in an email to you along with the recording by the end of today. So, if you miss out on any details, not to worry.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Neha. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone for coming along.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Before I get started on to my stuff, do you guys have any other questions for Renee, or all good to move on to the practicality of how do we record those products in Xero and check the sale, measure the sale of those products? Beautiful. I'm going to get straight into Xero now. So what I'm going to cover today is, and it's going to be really, really quick. So as Renee has mentioned before, obviously the way I like to do things, and most of us as business owners, we want to sell our services as products because it just makes more sense. It's value-based pricing. That's my thing. It's value-based pricing. Also, it enables you to sell stuff online, sell stuff on the website. So what we do here is we're going to add products in Xero so we can actually track them. So we go to business, we click on products and services right here. So we'll go through the process now. So say, for example, after doing your session with Renee, or after today's session with Renee, you've come up with you've got these 7 products that you want to sell, right? What you want to do here is you want to create a new item here. Cool. You put a code. You can put any code. Like if you've got, I like order, so you can have some kind of consistency in your ordering your product. So you could call something on the lines of, say, Xero training. So Xero training could be _T. Just writing it, and then you've got Xero training right here. Now, we provide this service, we don't purchase. If I was using a subcontractor to do it, I would put a purchase price there as well, so I could actually track the margin, right? That's important as well. And then what I want to do here is I'll probably put some details in here. I just can't think of anything, but just details in what I provide in Xero training. And say, for example, it's $250. And we've got sales account here. This is a demo company file, but for my own Xero file, I would actually use a specific Xero training because I can then track in my profit and loss report, how much did I make in Xero training this month compared to last year or compared to last month, because that's something I would like to track. So I'm just saying here, I sell this item. I don't track this item because this is, again, not a stock. If you had a product-based business, that's where you do it, but we're talking about service-based business today. So whenever you do the invoicing from here on, what you want to do is you want to make sure when you create the invoice, you go to the invoice section, and when you create a new invoice, I'm just going to do whatever here, like just pick up a name, and we've got the invoice date, your due date. You've got your invoice number, reference number if there's a purchase order there, and then I can go into my items, and straight away all that information is right there. The benefit of putting that into the invoice, I'm just going to approve it for the moment. You can change the description right there as well. What you can do from after here is you can actually do the reporting on this one. So what you do now is you go to accounting, you go to reports. I can be fast, so if at the end you want me to repeat it, happy to do that too. So what you want to do is you want to go here to the inventory section, there's a report called Sales by Item,
Mm-hmm.
which is really cool. Love it. So what you can do here is you can go here and you say, I want to see how much I've sold, how many different items I've sold in my September quarter, right? So you've got here the current price, you've got quantity that you've sold and the total price, and that's your average sale. The benefit of this is obviously you want to see how much you've sold in this month. Again, it is a bit restrictive. It does not show you comparison straight away. So you'll probably have to export every month or something. But the good thing I like here is it actually tells you how much you've sold. So for example, if you have to make a decision that, for whatever reason, you've got reduced staff, right? And you've got 10 items, okay? And you want to make a decision on what are the items that are not doing so well, So what you do is you do a report like this. You see how, for the moment, say Xero training and the last two, I've only sold 3 items, right? And again, the other thing you want to see is the margin as well. Say, for example, there's not much margin as well there. So I would probably get rid of those 2 items. So they're probably not doing very good for my business. I might be emotionally connected. This is something as business owners, we get really emotionally connected to something and we really want to do it, but there's no market evidence that that's going to work or not. So sometimes this is a good way to prove your brain, your brain needs to win sometimes over your heart. So, so if you can prove that by numbers, that is the best way to do it. And then you can explain to yourself, it's okay, I'm emotionally attached, but look, the numbers don't prove that. Let's just keep, or change it, just change your service offering to something different to make it work. But anything like this would help you in making those decisions. If you can't back stuff by your numbers, the decision making is probably not going to be the best. Agreed, Renee?
I love that, Neha. That is so awesome. I've never even used this report before, and I've been using Xero for a couple of years now. So I'm excited to start getting this report each month. I'm like, oh, that's exciting. And you know what else I also learned as you were doing the invoice, which I've never seen before, is for the due date, you just did a +7, which automatically added 7 days to that. Yeah. I did not know that hot tip.
See, there's always little tips we can learn from each other. Beautiful. Thank you so much, attendees. Do you have any questions for myself or Renee? Or if you'd like me to repeat anything, as I said, I talk too fast.
Hopefully everyone had plenty of caffeine this morning for both of us talking fast. Awesome.
Any feedback, anything else, any other topics you'd like us to bring on in the near future? Beautiful, Renee. I think we've obviously given good information. I hope you all enjoyed it. And it was great to have you all this morning. And as I said, we'll email you the offering and the recording in next few hours. Please feel free to reach out to myself or Renee. Renee for obviously the cool visual diagrams, visual of the business processes in the wrap system. And myself, anything to do with Xero. Thanks, Narelle.
Thanks, Narelle. Thanks, Maria.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. We'll see you next time. See you. Bye.
Thanks. Have a great Friday.
Yay.
Good luck on the school holidays for those parents.
Good luck to both of us too.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.